Hey guys, a quick video about the new unique armor, Chains of Command. I am not gonna be making a full build guide video for this specific armor, but since I managed to snipe this armor for 45C and I had level 89 skeleton build, I basically modified my skeleton build slightly, got like 2 or 3 items, and well, this is it. I simply wanted to test this armor and see how it actually works and how it performs. So this is mostly gonna be explanation and what I have tested so far, but if you wanna make a build with this, you can just check my skeleton build or just copy the path for building import code and just figure out yourself. You can obtain this armor just a random drop somewhere in the level 70 plus zones. Probably you can just use beast crafting to get it randomly, and I think it's not even that rare and it's probably a bit overrated. But then again, once you hear what I have to say next, you may just want to rush and buy it. But before that, at least listen to the cons and pros of this armor. So, how does having 50 Starforged minions sounds like, huh? Because that's exactly what you can do. Let me explain how this armor works. So you have your Animate Guardian somewhere. I would advise you to have like +3 or +2 minion helmet, but it also must be linked with some damaging stuff like minion damage, faster attacks, multi-strike, melee physical damage or whatever, because you actually need to deal damage with your Animate Guardian. Once your Animate Guardian kills something, it has 100% chance to summon Animate Guardian's weapon. And yes, that means it will use whichever weapon Animate Guardian has. It does not use weapons on the ground. And it is not the same as animate weapon skill. So you can actually stack animated weapons from the ground and with this animated weapons from the armor. Not only that, but all your animated minions will basically have a melee splash support gem for free. And your Animated Guardian will deal 5% increased damage per animated weapon and more, and all of your animated weapons, including the animated weapons from the skill, will have a 10% chance to trigger level 18 Animate Guardian's weapon on kill. What this means is basically it fully automates the animate weapon summoning. Now in these clips I was not using animated weapon skill, I was only using Animated Guardian in the helmet and the armor. Now the armor does not need to be linked and everything inside the armor will affect animated weapons from the Animated Guardian. And in the buff bar you can see 2 instances of animated weapons. One is the animated weapon summoned by kills from Animated Guardian, and another one is animated weapons summoned, well, by themselves. But the sum of both of these I believe is 50. If you were to get more, it would, well, unsummon something and summon the other one instead. And lastly, you cannot have non-animated minions. However, you can have Dancing Dervish or Dancing Duo. However, it will not work as you may think, because if Dancing Dervish or Dancing Duo kills the enemy, it will not auto-summon the other weapons from this armor. So while technically you can use Dancing Duo, it's really not good. Now here are a couple things that I have tried and a couple more things that I have heard people tried. Maybe first let me explain what I have for my Animate Guardian. First of all, Animate Guardian is inside +3 minion helmet with minion life support, linked with minion damage, faster attacks and multi-strike. Now my Animate Guardian actually has Abyssus helmet, ambush charge armor for some region, red blade Rambler boots, and then first I tried for gloves I tried using Hemophila gloves, and for weapon I tried using Kondo's Pride sword. But I find that exploding enemies don't really trigger multiple summon animate weapons, and while this option is pretty strong and additional flat accuracy on the weapon is pretty useful because your minions are kind of inaccurate as always, and unless you are using necromantic Aegis with a leukocyte shield or a champion as a ascendancy, you're gonna need accuracy. But here's an easy and very cheap solution. I have dropped Hemophila gloves and instead using some rare gloves with I believe accuracy, added physical damage and added lighting damage or something. It is just for Guardian himself, just to boost his damage slightly a bit more. And for the weapon I am using Kongor's Undying Rage, mainly because it does have pretty decent base damage and it has hits can be evaded. And also on critical strike they gain onslaught, which increases their attack movement speed. If you could corrupt this to have culling strike, it would be perfect. Now what I actually like about this is that you can experiment with all kind of weapon and let's say gloves or other combinations to do something special. You can just go straight up for a lot of damage like using Starforge, and all of your animated weapons from the body armor will have the Starforge. Also, I did try Wings of Entropy and I'm not entirely sure how it actually works. Does it only hit the main hand? I don't know, but well, the damage didn't seem very good for me, for my current build. But the funny thing is, it looks like you are running around with a bunch of butterflies. Also, I did try Kingmaker. The main reason is I wanted to see if you can stack with 30% increased item rarity with, well, get a lot of item rarity from a bunch of minions. But turns out only one of it affects you and you only get 30% and no more, even if you have 20, 50 animated weapons. Another thing that I heard people saying is that Jorha's Black Steel does summon 2 animated weapons, making it very easy to have maximum. However, the weapon itself doesn't give any minion damage and even it reduces animated weapon duration. So while you may have more animated weapons all the time, but they would each deal less damage and last shorter duration. You can, however, get a helmet enchantment for animated weapons to have a chance to summon 2 at the same time. I have not tried that and I cannot verify if that actually works with this body armor. I think it's all gonna depend on how you build your build. This is like I said, my skeleton build and it was not designed for this. I only have one increased skill effect duration wheel from the passive skill tree, and I am using increased skill effect duration support jump. Now the other support jumps in the armor are minion damage, minion speed, melee physical damage, maim, multi-strike, and increased duration, which by the way is kind of low level without quality. And as a necromancer I have Puppet Master, Mistress of Sacrifice, Commander of Darkness, and Invoker. For the damage I'm only using Hatred Aura, and the other one is Discipline. Hatred is supported by Generosity. Blighting is using Curse on hit with vulnerability and also triggers elemental equilibrium. For my weapon I am using the Scorch Claw because a lot of minion damage and minion attack speed, and for my shield I am using Victorious Charity Shield because it is very easy to generate frenzy charges for your minions with Blighting and Victorious Charity Shield without Necromantic Aegis. And the rest of the build is just the same as I talked in the video about my skeleton build. So that's basically all about the items that I have tested and what I know. So just my final thoughts, it's basically the animate weapon build with some automation. However, you will still need something to, well, ramp up the damage and not rely just on Animate Guardian, because like you saw in the clip, in the core map, once I have died against the boss, I basically had no animated weapons and only had Animated Guardian, and well, the map mods was kind of rippy and I couldn't even do anything, so I had to call for help. However, if I had animate weapon skill, I could just drop some weapons on the ground, use them for animating weapons and dealing more damage quicker. And I think there are many ways to do this, but I'm just not gonna do a build guide video about this. It is not very friendly for the streaming because I can't really stop, I can't really look away for too long, so it's hard to interact with people. And I do not enjoy the rush, well, the forced rush. If you stop, you start losing your minions and you kind of, well, lose damage. It is kind of bad when you go into the boss room without having too many of your minions and just don't deal a lot of damage. I did manage to do Ash Breach without any problems. The damage was really decent, but I still think I prefer skeletons. I do love having control over where you place, when you place your minions. And with skeletons, if you die or your skeletons die, you can just summon them. However, with this body armor you cannot, unless you have a separate minion skill. And that means doing a Zeri with this build could be very annoying. Or just in general, any bosses with faces can be very annoying with this. So for that reason I do not want to do a full build guide video about this. I may still play tomorrow just to finish reaching level 90 on this build. And then move on to the build that I started already, which is EK Gladiator with almost max block and using Sakwal's items to maximize tornadoes. So that should also be fun. So yeah, that's about all. Thank you for watching and see you soon.